Hey everybody, welcome to the Men of Zen Kai, a really fast and short episode of the Men of Zen where we talk about one thing only, and today that one thing is fucking Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Because something very big just recently happened in the world of Pokemon. Aiden, you tell me about this. What is it that happened?
Yeah, Aiden, tell us. Serenade us.
So Pikachu died.
Wait, what? I'll check the script. That's not what it was.
Yeah.
When's the funeral?
Brian doesn't know. 'Cause he
I just found out.
He didn't watch the fight, so he didn't know. Yeah, Brian. So Pikachu wins the fight, but then he dies of a heart attack. He exhausts himself.
If only he didn't put him on that treadmill for Lieutenant Surge all those years ago. The stress on his heart.
He just got literally eaten by a Charizard.
Jesus Christ.
No, but seriously. Someone won the big kahuna.
Finally.
The World Championship. Mm-hmm. Not a regional event, a World Coronation Championship. Mm-hmm. He is, as of right now, Ash Ketchum, this little immortal 10-year-old boy, is the monarch of the Pokemon world.
The monarch!
Well, it's actually what it's called. That's his actual title.
Is it really?
Yeah, he's the monarch.
We have to do that too.
He's the
Team Venture.
Well, we can't do that too soon. I'm sorry, because I have to put it out there that Wizard and the Bruiser just did it, and it was a great episode, guys. But I'm coming for you. I'm taking your title, just like the monarch of Pokemon.
But you know, guys, it's great. It only took Ash about 1,220 episodes to get here. 23 movies and a number of side episodes.
Wow.
Suck it, One Piece.
You know,
Still less than One Piece. Yeah.
No, that's more than One Piece.
Is it?
Yeah, that's more than One Piece right now.
How many episodes is One Piece now? Because I swear
I'll find out in a hot second.
they're both in the thousands, aren't they?
yeah, they both are for sure.
Well, this is about 1,200 episodes.
That's ridiculous to think about.
How many movies does One Piece have? Because I know they have each
One Piece is 1,038.
So they're about...
There's over 200, almost 200 more episodes.
Yeah, we did look up earlier that it is 2 years ahead. And Pokemon ran like... as a kid, I didn't know what the concept of a season was. It was just every week there was a new episode of Pokemon. And I never really thought about, like, they were in seasons. It was just show. And show was always there. Show was always on.
Yep.
And it's just always a new episode. And I was always thrilled by it. And to think about that it had seasons. I never waited. As a kid, I never had to wait.
Like each generation.
Oh, shoot, season 2 of Pokemon hasn't started
I
yet.
remember I hated Tracy when I first saw Tracy. Fuck him.
I think season 2 technically was like
Camera guy.
Wait.
You're thinking Snap.
That's
Or
Todd.
Todd.
No, I'm talking about Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy's not the photographer.
With the scyther.
Yeah, he's the artist.
Oh,
not
he's
the
the artist. That's
photographer.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Get your back straight.
Fuck Todd too. He's the one. Yeah.
Even though he's the protagonist of Pokemon Snap, the first one on 64. I mean, I say protagonist lightly, but you are first person Todd.
Yes, exactly. He's trying to catch them all on film.
Yeah. Doing stuff for his naughty magazines.
But yeah, guys, this has been
That's probably a fetish out there. Someone
there
tries
Pokemon porn in the Pokemon world?
probably we knew Gardevoir exists.
Do you think Giovanni was a big supporter?
Yeah, no,
he was like the underground.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's what Team Rocket was doing all this time.
In his back room is a room full of diddles.
Team
and they're all
Rocket's
burnt out.
blasting off the speed of light.
Good lord, man. But we always talk about how One Piece is way too many episodes. Pokemon has way too many episodes.
Holy God.
I don't know.
1,220 main series episodes.
I don't think that is too many because each series is based off the game and stuff. And
Well, there's
each has
like
different adventures in
there's
different regions.
Yes, but there's a season. There's like 4 or 5 different seasons in like a regional. What's the right word for that? Like each region, there's like a couple different seasons built into that.
And
I don't know.
they
I thought
do,
Kanto was just one. This
Kanto was one, yes, but
And
then
there's
the
the
Orange
Orange
Islands was
Islands,
the
two.
Orange Islands.
But then starting with
Combine
Johto.
that with
Johto.
Johto, the Orange Islands and Johto. It kind of felt like same to me, Johto and Orange Islands.
No, there was Pokemon the Johto Journeys, Pokemon New Journey, like there was just a bunch of different like sub.
that Johto means slaps.
Do you have any of how much? How
Oh, here we
many
go. Yep, there's
different-
Pokemon Indigo League, Pokemon Mr. Adventures in the Orange Islands, Pokemon the Johto Journeys, Pokemon Johto League Champions, Pokemon Master Quest, Pokemon Advanced Challenge, Pokemon Advanced Battle, Pokemon Battle Frontier, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Battle Dimension, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Galactic Battles, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Sinnoh League Victories, Pokemon Black and White, Pokemon Black and White Rival Destinies, Pokemon Black and White Adventures in Unova, Pokemon Black and White Adventures in Unova and Beyond, Pokemon X and Y, Pokemon X and Y, the Kalos Quest, Pokemon X, Y, and Z, even though we never got Z the games.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I wanted.
Exactly, I'll never forgive them for that. Pokemon the series Sun and Moon, Pokemon Sun and Moon Ultra Adventures, Pokemon Sun and Moon Ultra Legends, and then finally we have Pokemon Journeys, Pokemon Master Journeys, and finally Pokemon Ultimate Journeys.
And among all of these different anime series, there's 20 different theme songs.
Oh man, dude, there's a couple bangers that I remember growing up watching Pokemon.
Mostly the Poke Rap.
The Poke Rap is timeless. They've tried to repeat that, and they've just never been able to
No,
do
because
it.
it's trash. They can't. You can't recreate magic. I'm sorry. It just
can't do it.
Lightning doesn't strike twice, guys. You gotta just stick. It needed to just be the Poke Rap in the same format, but with all the new like Pokemon names. Maybe that would have been cool. But instead, they made a whole new song a bunch of times, and they were garbage.
Dude,
like-
I love first of all the first Pokemon intro is iconic. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
That could be playing somewhere and you're gonna have people singing it. The Johto Journeys, I really like that one
Pokemon
too.
Johto.
Did you guys ever have that To Be the Master CD with the tracks on it?
100%.
Yes.
That had awesome stuff.
100%.
Dude, fucking there was the Team Rocket song.
Team Rocket's
They had,
Rocket.
Prepare for trouble. Make it double. Dude, fuck
Then
yeah.
Pokemon Advanced theme song, I Want to Be a Hero. That was a great theme song. Like his first time going into Hoenn. Then they rapped in the fourth one, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl intro.
To be your winner.
Johto. No, the Diamond and Pearl one was like literally just a bunch of rap, and I'm like, what the hell is this? It was catchy. The song was called just Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, but you know, it's 25 years, guys. 25 years. I'm 31.
He's
You know,
old as
Aiden's
fuck.
timeless.
I
Brent's-
refuse to say.
Brent's 35.
Guys, I'm actually 14, guys. In case you guys didn't know.
He's underage.
Yeah.
Isekai him.
Aiden, do you want any more whiskey in that glass over there?
You want any more cocaine in your cup?
Not that that's illegal at every age.
It's not illegal in Australia.
No, he's at drinking age here, people. Come on.
Come on.
Is he?
I'll tell you the truth. You guys join
Yes.
our Patreon.
Yeah, join our Patreon, $3 a month at patreon.com/themenofgen. We got a whole bunch of shit on there, but that's not what we're here for today. We are here to talk about fucking Pokemon and its 25-year fucking journey to finally maybe coming to an end.
Yeah, they're unlike any of the previous seasons. They have not announced a new season following this, and this is weird because normally it's like months before a season ends. They've already announced a new one, but as of now, there's not any mention.
Yeah.
So there's a couple different things this could mean. One, that it's really the end. They're ending the Pokemon, like traditional Pokemon anime. We're not going to follow Ash anymore. You know, it's done. They might do like some side like spin-off animes like they did for for Origins, Pokemon Chronicles. That stuff was kind of neat, but just do something different with new protagonists.
Yep.
Two, this could be a jumping point for a new series with featuring Go, his travel companion in Pokemon Journeys, which is Go was meant to be the embodiment of Pokemon Go, the mobile game that we all know and love, and because he catches literally everything.
He's such a better trainer than Ash.
Well, he literally catches everything he sees. He sees a new Pokemon, throws a Pokeball at it right away. He doesn't hesitate.
Well, there's like I'm trying to think. Is it 3 or 4 types of players? There's the players that play to collect. There's the players that play for strength, and then the players that basically for breeding, right? Like you're trying to make your Pokemon be their best selves,
Right.
And then I can't think.
Are you talking about like the main games? Or are you talking about like Pokemon Go?
Just anything, literally any type of Pokemon. There's always
like
those,
the gym leader hoarders, like ones that just hoard up gyms and just want to.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But so Go is more like he's just the catcher, but is he a good battler? Like
no, he literally doesn't fight.
Would he make a good protagonist?
So I don't know about that.
So what would you like out of your protagonist, Phil?
Well, I guess the last thing I was going to say is that like this might just be like it for Pokemon, just or they might even, or like some people say like there might be like a brand new protagonist who's not Ash or Go in a brand new series starting over in the new Paldea region.
Honestly,
that they're starting with Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah,
I would honestly like to see the Arceus like series be like animated. That'd be kind of cool.
That could be
that'd
neat.
Be cool.
Yeah.
Or that'd be really interesting to go back and do some of the like the game storyline stuff.
Right.
Like
that's what they did with like Pokemon Origins.
Yes,
that
was so good. I wish it was longer.
Yeah, that was so good. That really captured like the heart of the original series. And like this was like that show I was looking at it going, that's me playing my game. Like back in the 90s, that's exactly what I thought. It was like, I am Ash Ketchum with this fucking big ass Charizard and watch me wreck your whole crew. It was awesome. It's so fun.
It's 25 years, guys. Like Pokemon's been more in my life than it hasn't been in my life.
It's been more in your life than your mom.
To think about.
Yeah, like I'm only 6 years older than the first episode of when Pokemon aired.
Yeah, damn. Yeah. Do you remember what the very first episode of Pokemon you saw was?
I saw at the beginning.
Yeah, I saw it from the very beginning.
No shit.
Yeah.
But there's an episode that I was super scared of
because I'm fairly positive the games came out before the anime.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. I don't know.
I don't know. I think the show came out in America first because that was the way to capture us to get into the game. But I think in Japan it was the opposite. I think the game came out first and then the show started because we didn't get our stuff until later, much later, like 2 or 3 years. Like it had already started, I thought, in like 1995, 96.
Yep, it came out in 1998 with Red and Blue in the States, meaning that Pokemon was out for a year before they actually we got the games, which that makes sense. Now it's all coming back to me. Mikey, my little brother, and I would watch the new episodes every day. The reruns every day. We watched the new episodes every week, and we were so excited to get our games. I still remember my family taking us on vacation to Mall of America in Minnesota, and we just happened to be walking by an EB Games, before GameStop took over and we saw, they were selling the new Pokemon games, and my brother and I begged our parents to get us Game Boys and, get us each a copy of the game, which they did. And we spent the rest of that vacation just like playing Pokemon.
Oh, I bet you were fucking screaming for AA batteries.
Mom, I need more batteries!
Kids these days are not know the struggle. My Game Boy had like the magnifying glass on it, the little light you attached to it.
God, yeah.
Oh, God.
The amount of effort I went through just to be able to see the fucking screen.
Dude, you want to know something crazy? There's a Game Boy Color right behind you. Yeah, that's not my original, but that's the same model that I had growing up.
That same too. I had the green one.
Yep, I had the green one. Mikey had the
purple
red one.
See-through one, man.
Oh, that's a classic,
purple.
though.
Yeah, I was torn between that. I did kind of like the teal. I remember at the time, but it was either green or atomic purple, and I went with the green.
That was
it's such a magical time,
dude. Like there was nothing more in my life that I cared more about at that time than just playing Pokemon.
There was just something, I don't really know what it even was about it that I can't, like, even now I can't describe why I loved it so much, but I did. It was easy progression, and you had these fun characters. Some of them looked badass. Like, who didn't love Charizard? Who doesn't love Charizard now?
That's my boy.
Right?
My favorite.
Like Gengar, it had ghosts, and it was an interesting story, and the whole goal was easy to grasp. You were trying to be the champion. There was a clear goal at the end that was attainable by a young children. So
Yeah.
it was just this amazing culmination of things that Nintendo did right for its target audience. And I remember it was the first time I ever saw anything Pokemon. It was in a Nintendo Power magazine, and it was an advertisement for the game. And the advertisement, back in the day, when you didn't have the power of internet to look at a video of what the game was, you only had like 6 or 7 graphics of
Right.
to try to envision what does this game like play like, what is it. And I remember this graphic didn't have any screenshots of the game. It was just a bunch of weird little fucking monsters, and I'm like, what the fuck are these guys? And there was a bug net, like a bug,
Yeah.
and it said, gotta catch them all. So my first initial thought, I must have been like 8 years old in like 3rd grade or so. I remember going, so what? I'm like a guy with a fucking like net or a vacuum, and I'm just sucking up stupid things. And I remember thinking that's stupid as shit. And then my young self discovers the anime. You said you saw it from the beginning. How the fuck? I saw my first episode. I wish I saw it from the beginning like you, but well, not necessarily, because I was sitting in the living room on my couch with the coffee table in front of me. I can see it all clearly. We had one of those big ass stupid wooden entertainment centers with
Yep.
a stupid square cut out for that big ass fucking heavy ass TV.
Yep.
And I remember seeing Pikachu and Raichu fighting in Lieutenant Surge's gym, and I didn't know what it was, but I was like, dude, this is fucking awesome as a kid. And then when it went to commercial, it was like back to Pokemon, and I went, this is Pokemon? I lost it. I was like, I have to have everything. Oh man, I was hooked right then and there. And that was the cool. I bring that up all the time. I'll never forget. Ash, Lieutenant Surge, Pikachu, and Raichu. The first episode I ever saw.
Dude, Lieutenant Surge can literally punch a Pokemon and blast it away. If you saw the size comparison, Lieutenant Surge is like 11 feet tall.
I don't know. Ash is pretty fucking strong.
Yeah, I know. Ash has done some really crazy feats of strength, but like Lieutenant Surge literally is 3 times the size of Ash.
I don't know.
And not to mention, going into his gym, you literally have to reach into the trash
Right.
just to find these buttons to
in the
get
games,
to him.
yeah.
Yes,
I
but
hated that.
He just to like let you know how much of a garbage trainer you are. He's like, I hit him in the trash.
Dig through
Go
the trash,
dig
you
through
peasant.
the trash, garbage kid.
See, I had to come up with that. Well, I learned that you can just do the really simple method is you just check each trash can and you would find the switch and then immediately you'd save. Go to whatever one you thought was the second switch. And if it wasn't, you turn your game off and turn it back on and just choose a different
wow.
trash can.
I never did like
Yeah,
methods
that's what I
and
did.
stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the only, because if you don't do that, you are going to be spending way more time trying to find both switches.
I never thought about that. I feel like mine was always just like a game of chance. Like it was every time I replayed that game, because again, you only got one save file. Every
Yep.
time I replayed it, it was like, okay, am I going to get it right this time? Yes. Sorry. What about the next one? Fuck.
Oh, man.
Nah, man, I feel you there. Like, I loved watching it from the beginning, and I remember as a kid watching that. I had all the Pokemon tapes, and I would just watch that first
Right.
episode over and over because I loved the first starting sequence, which is similar to the games. You have Gengar versus Nidorino, and it was just like the two trainers you couldn't see, like they were only shadows and silhouettes, but like the announcer was narrating the fight, and it was such a cool moment, like hyping me up. And which, thinking back on it, Nidorino had no business fighting Gengar because back then Nidorino had no attacks that could hit Gengar.
That's true.
So it was just real funny to see Gengar bouncing around everywhere. And this is back when Gengar was like pure black almost.
Yeah,
So he was like more menace looking. The trainer recalled Nidorino, threw out a Pokeball, and it happened to be Onyx, this giant freaking snake.
Wait, now I'm trying to remember.
That was the very first episode.
Yeah,
in
Ash was
Pokemon.
like watching it on TV, I think, or something.
Yep, and this is him hyping him up because the next day he was off to get his starter Pokemon, and he was watching these professional trainers fight, and it was such a cool moment. And to this day, and call me a Gen 1er or whatever you want, the best starting Pokemon, which are iconic to this day, are Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. Just the designs are amazing. All 3 of them. The full evolutionary lines are great, and Gen 1 I can always go back to with playing any of those games.
Anytime,
Anytime.
any day, any week.
You guys remember like those commercials?
Oh my god,
There was a guy in a
yes.
school bus. He was a bus driver. And
Yes.
and he was like all his Pokemon are riding with him, and he's like, "Oh no, this is your stop," and he like kidnaps him and he puts him on his game because he's trying to steal it.
And then he would like crush the bus
Yep, he
with like
crushed it.
car crusher, whatever those other things are called.
Yep.
And it'd be a Game
Oh,
Boy
it packed
there, and
into
he'd
the
pick
game,
it up,
yeah.
and like they Pokemon would be trying to get out of it.
I thought those commercials looked so cool because it was like 2D animation in 3D worlds, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." As a
Yeah.
kid back then, it was like, "Oh my god, this is actually really."
You guys remember link cables?
Yeah.
You had to
Oh,
use the link
hell
cable
yeah.
to trade. In that same commercial, there'd be like two kids in two different buildings, and they have this giant cable linked between them, and the Pokemon would be like walking across it, like to symbolize trading.
Yeah.
And that was such. It was such a cool time.
And
You
that
know,
it really was like it was like that link cable was. So if you didn't know, every Pokemon series so far has always come out with two versions every time it releases, so that one version has some of the Pokemon, the other version has the other portion that the other doesn't have, so it gives you a reason to trade. But back, in the 90s, we didn't have shit like Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all that bullshit, so it was physically, you had to have a buddy or someone that you knew that had the other copy, and you're like, "Oh, trade me." And it was this
Yeah.
really cool, like this physical thing of coming together to complete, your Pokedex. You want to
Right.
have them all.
you have 151. Very, very. At that time, it seemed like a lot, but nowadays, whoa,
Yeah.
that's pretty easy. But like, you didn't have the internet. All you had was like books on Pokemon that you could find and read and like
Now, if you
discover
were
new
rich, you had
species.
the internet.
Yeah.
Huh?
If you
You're
were rich, you had the
Right,
internet.
but just imagine like you don't know anything about these games. Like
Right.
you're still playing them. You're still discovering new Pokemon that you've never seen before. And you read books that have pictures of
Right.
Pokemon, and you're like, oh, I can find that. Only to find your friend has Pokemon you can't seem to
Right.
find. The reason why, though, originally why they made two different versions was apparently they wanted kids to make friends on the playground. Seeing somebody who had if I had red version, I saw someone with blue version, I would want to go talk to that person, be like, hey, what Pokemon do you have? And they wanted to get kids to make friends, this way, and that's so cool.
Now, I know, actually, for some reason, I know some really interesting, weird facts about Pokemon. So with, like you mentioned, the first two games of Pokemon, their original idea for it was they wanted... So you know how Pokemon have a Pokemon number, and you have a trainer number,
Yeah.
right? They wanted to actually give every single Pokemon a unique number also.
Oh.
So when you caught it, it would have a unique identifier, and when you traded it, it would keep that identifier. So you would know exactly where your Pokemon went. You would know that's your Gengar.
Oh, wow.
And it would be a unique identifier that would travel no matter where it went. But the problem with it was that back in the day, the Game Boy only had so much processing power. It could only recognize up to so many digits within like a certain code, and they couldn't program enough. They couldn't. It didn't have enough power to literally remember that much information. So they shortened it down and just ended up Xing that. But they wanted it to be that you were a trainer with a unique identifier in a unique world that was yours with your identifying number, and it would actually start you in a different town, and it would be
Oh,
randomly
wow.
like there was a lot of random generated stuff, but just the Game Boy had too many limitations, so they ended up putting it all in Pallet Town. It was very
Wow.
linear, but yeah, it could have
Shit,
been.
I mean, we're 2022. Where's this stuff in the new Pokemon
yeah,
games?
it could have been a wild idea, but now it's formulaic. But
Right.
yeah, but man, back then. That shit would have been crazy to think about.
And this all started really, and we are an anime research podcast, so it only seems fair that I give one piece of information. And of course, that is the inventor of Pokemon, Satoshi Tajiri, and his friend Ken Sugimori, who was the illustrator, the guy who's still at Game Freak, I believe. And he is one of the head one of the head honchos of the entire Pokemon company.
He's like so big in the company, he's practically just an ideas man. And you
Right.
come with him with an idea, and he'll be like, "No, shit sucks." And that's his job, to tell you if it sucks or not.
And that was back in 1982. Satoshi did start a gaming magazine with his together with his friends, and he called it Game Freak.
Yep.
But after a while, he decided to start his own video games instead of writing about them. And that's where this whole thing of Pokemon came into place, where he took the inspiration of when he was a kid. He loved going to collect bugs. catching bugs and getting information on them, and he took that and just kind of ran with it with the Pokemon franchise, and that's why there's so many freaking bug trainers, bug catchers in the early parts of the game, is because the whole idea of just exploring the forest, exploring these areas, trying to find creatures that you've never seen before. And that, who knew that this little idea would blossom into the world's highest grossing franchise?
Yeah, it's wild to think about. That somebody had this idea and we're still living in this world of their idea, and it's crazy how far it's come. One thing actually I kind of forgot I wanted to get back to just real quick. You were talking earlier about the original fight with Nidorino and Gengar.
Yes, that's the first thing when you boot up the old Pokemon Red and Blue games. That's the first thing that pops up. That's what I was going to ask. I haven't seen it in a while, and I'm looking at it going, wait, is that? I did, because again, I didn't see that first episode. That's how the anime starts, actually. It actually shows that same exact screen, which looks like on a Game Boy, and then all of a sudden, as Nidorino jumps to attack Gengar, it transforms and blends it into an anime, and that's where it starts.
No shit. Yeah. I've never seen
You've never seen that?
No.
Oh, we're gonna have to show you that after
you have
this.
to watch it sometime.
Wow.
That
just blew my mind.
Yeah, that's how it starts.
Because again, I only saw Lieutenant Sergeant Raichu. I didn't own VHS tapes. I wasn't privileged enough. I lived out in the country. Okay, so I didn't get Red or Blue. I will admit that was not my first version. My first version was yellow because my mom never bought me shit because it was always wait for birthday, Christmas. So by the time I got one, everyone had already played it. They knew what it was, and I was all about Pokemon Yellow. So the thing I grew up with was only Pikachu. That's all I knew was Pikachu over and over and over.
Well,
and
no, I'll show them the video after that.
Then I got Silver. That was the one that I was finally okay, this is what it's really like. And that changed the game forever. Adding day and night cycles. Pokemon had more alternate evolutions with
different
Eevee.
colors, different genders.
Yeah, they started shinies because it was in color now, so they had different shit. And did that have Pokemon powers too?
I don't think it had abilities.
Abilities didn't start until Gen 3.
Yeah. Okay. I can't remember that.
You guys ever have the actual physical Pokédex book with the Pikachu you flip through? Little Pokemon guide.
Oh, dude, I loved that. I carried that everywhere. I would read it all the time.
Yeah, nope,
there's
not me. I didn't have shit.
I think there's the normal yellow one, and there's a special edition green one, if I remember right.
I think so.
Yeah. I had the special one because the green one had the holographic. It took me forever to get that because I had to beg my mom to get it, and it was in the Scholastic bookstore, and I was like, God fucking damn, this game is
Man, there was so many. I just keep thinking of all these different things in my childhood that Pokemon was a part of. Remember Burger King toys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where you got a plastic Pokeball and you open it up and you don't know what Pokemon you're gonna get, and there was a bunch you could get, and there was water squirting toys, the water types. You had a Rhyhorn that had a little wheel. You pulled it back and it just flew forward.
I had the Seadra one where you squeeze and the water come out.
You had a Cubone on a keychain. Geodude. There was all these really cool detailed Pokemon toys, and then of course you had
the gold plates.
The gold-plated Pokemon cards, which I have one over there on my desk.
What one? What do you have?
Charizard.
Nice. I figured. You know what one I got when I got mine? Jigglypuff.
Yeah, that's how I got it.
I was like, wow, fucking disappointed.
I was so bad.
I found that one while I was at a business conference in Wisconsin. We were on lunch, and I just happened to. There was a pawn shop across the street from the hotel.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, screw it, I'll just go check that place out. It was had a bunch of video games, and it was a really cool pawn shop, just a nerdy pawn shop, really. And I just saw that in box. It still had a box. It was beat up.
Wow.
Beat up to shit. And I'm like, oh fuck, what card is that? It was charged. I'm like, give me that. How much is that? They're like $10. I'm like, give it.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cheap on eBay. I was trying to save.
Is it really?
Yeah, you go on eBay. Those at most they go for $20.
They actually have some at Video Games Etc. Local game store we have here. They actually have a couple in box still.
Guys, don't buy it.
The one in
I'm trying to save it for stuff.
and the one at the one by Lindale Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a couple of them.
I'll have to look at those. That's cool. Do you
Right.
remember how much are they?
Like anywhere from like $12 to $20.
Yeah, they're not that expensive.
That's it?
Yeah.
No, it's like saturated, but dude, seriously, guys, don't buy it. Cause I've been trying to save them for months. I know it's not a lot, but I'm just broke. So
You could help Aiden not be broke by hitting up our patreon.com/themenofzen. But hey, move on.
Now, there's one other thing. I was just thinking about something that I wanted to bring up, and it immediately left my fucking brain. We were talking about the stupid gold plate things. I was like, you know what? I've been seeing on Facebook Marketplace, there's people selling sealed reproductions of all of the original Game Boy and Game Boy Color Pokemon.
Yeah.
They look legit.
They do.
Like, they're like $25-$30, and I
Yep.
seriously am like,
They are
how much money do I
reproductions.
want to? Yes,
Yeah,
but that would look so sick in anyone's collection.
You know what's crazy? I own every single mainline Pokemon game. The
Nice.
original. No reproduction cards, all original cards.
are the batteries still functioning? And
Pokemon
Yes.
Puzzle League.
Okay. Nice.
Got it.
Oh, okay, well, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I had. That was the only one.
So,
All right, hold
what
on.
is your favorite one?
It is right. Get out of here.
Phil
He's shuffling through his
digging through
mini
his collection.
64
Yeah.
games. He's got
Puzzle
to show me.
League,
Yep,
baby.
there it is.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have
Fuck
Hey You
that game.
Pikachu?
No, because that game is trash.
You just lied to us then. You
I
just
said
lied to us.
mainline game, not side games.
You just said
Yeah.
Pokemon. Ooh, inbox. Nice.
Inbox.
Pokemon Snap inbox.
I like
Yeah.
Hey You Pikachu.
Yeah,
Hey,
dude.
Pikachu is not mainline.
Now that
liked
was one of the few games that like I was privileged enough as a kid to get, and I remember that stupid microphone. The first thing every
Never
kid
fucking-
did, I swear to God, the first thing everyone said was Pikachu, kill yourself. and everyone was never shocked when it didn't.
Pikachu,
Like-
why aren't you listening to me? Pikachu, swear.
Yeah, right. I don't know why. Like, maybe it was just
Pikachu,
every,
say fuck.
was it like every just boys thing to do that? Like, did every girl have like a different thing that they'd be like Pikachu, like smile or wave or something? And I would imagine every boy going, "Kill yourself."
I mean, I personally told him to poop, but you know
I've
he
been
never
here
did.
Since run across the
You guys were assholes as kids. I never.
You probably did worse things.
I did not.
Pikachu,
I was
bring
an
me a
innocent, pure
lolly.
child.
Oh my god!
See, great, yeah. Pokemon Puzzle League great game.
Pokemon Stadium was so
Pokemon
much-
Stadium. I have Pokemon Stadium 1 and
You
2
guys
over
ever
there.
played the original games on the little adapter?
Oh,
Yes.
dude,
Yeah,
100%.
That
You
was,
had
I
to.
loved it. Yeah.
Playing, like, seeing your Pokemon back from the like original cartridges on like 3D, and this is the first time you saw them in 3D,
Yeah.
was awesome. Pokemon Snap. You could take your cartridge to a
yeah,
to a
a print
Blockbuster
studio.
or like a Mr. Movies we had around
Yes.
here, and you can print off your pictures you took of your Pokemon.
Yep.
That's so cool. In the DS, there were so many like Pokemon distribution events. Me and Brent used to work at GameStop, so we
Yeah.
had a bunch of those.
Well, I used to have a couple of those distribution cartridges, like somewhere in the confines of some boxes, deep hidden deeply within my house. I might have a couple distribution cartridges.
Man,
I
good.
might not have given them back to Nintendo when they said we should.
Oh,
Now, I also know people have made emulators of those. You can download ROMs of those distribution carts.
Yeah.
So you can legitimately redistribute a thing to yourself from an emulation.
Yes.
How weird is that?
that's
Wow.
like there were so many really cool events that Nintendo and Pokemon would do to like bring fans together and just like try to have a very just Pokemon was a really cool IP to just do a bunch of crazy different games with, and I feel like they don't really do that anymore. Pokemon's kind of gone.
It's about the
Corporate.
money now. Yeah.
Well, it had a formula and it stuck with it for so long, but it works so well in that Nintendo really knows how to cater to their target audience, and they know how games need to change when it comes to more modernizing the concept. But Nintendo
Right.
also knows what things they have to keep the same,
Right.
to get like. So that's why a lot of these games do still feel very childish, is because you're right. It's not targeted towards you. It's targeted towards the kids. It's just adults still love these games. And it's that concept that's really interesting, that's really bridging the gap of multiple generations at this point. And it's really awesome to see. And one of the other things I absolutely loved about Pokemon was the card game.
Oh yeah,
Like seeing all my favorite like cards in, and literally the palm of my hand was fucking cool. They're obviously expensive as hell now. But there was always something strange to me about like seeing a big like tournament for Pokemon cards, and some other like 8-year-old kid is up there whooping adults' ass with a fucking 60-card deck of Pokemon cards. I'm like, how the fuck? How is that kid that good? What the shit?
I still have that urge to buy Pokemon cards, even though I feel like they're not worth anything really, unless you get like one like of the really really rare cards in the set that's like worth like double digits and sometimes triple digits. But like most of the cards are kind of worth like pennies.
It's one of those that you would have to collect it sheerly for the love of collecting and for no other reason.
And as much as I love Pokemon, I am not made of money and I cannot spread all of my. I already spend a lot too much money on video games. I don't need to spend money on.
Super is kind of taking
Dragon Ball Super
mantle.
takes a lot of our money. Then we have the One Piece card game coming out.
I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. It hurts my wallet. But just Pokemon in general, it just every time I look back on it on my childhood, I always get this warm, feeling of just happy, like childhood innocence, and I.
Better days.
It's better days.
Better days.
What do you think, Aiden? Like, you remember you and me in high school? We used to bring our DSs to school.
We used to
like
in study hall.
Yeah, to study hall. We'd play our Pokemon games together. It was
so good. Like I don't know, back in the day, it's just Pokemon itself is just there was a lot of good memories with it. Back in the days, just a lot of I don't know. As a kid growing up, I remember like my first time with Pokemon was actually in a dentist's office, right?
Oh.
So the dentist I went to, like I would go with my mom when she get her teeth done. They would have the old school big ass gray Game Boy. You know what I'm talking about? The big ass Game Boy.
Yep, that was my first Game Boy.
They had it there. Like kids could. There's like a box of toys kids could play through where they wait in the waiting room. In that box of toys was a Game Boy. It had Pokemon in it. I would just like load it up and then play. Wait till my minds put it back.
Wow.
Yeah, because they would. Yeah.
What a time to be alive, where you could safely just put a Game Boy in a room and not pay attention to it, and no one would steal it.
Better days.
It was there for a
man.
couple of years too, because I
days.
remember going as a kid a few times with my mom. And it's the same one just there, and I was like, cool,
Right?
But just a different save file each time. I was like, God damn it, these kids keep erasing now.
Son of a bitch!
Right.
Man, now I had one of the memory cards for the Game Boy. And it was this big honking yellow thing that so you loaded the game outside of the Game Boy, like the cartridge goes into it on the back. This stuck up and then hooked over upside down, and then the game shoved upwards on the back.
Yeah,
I can remember those. Yeah.
And it had like some stupid shit where there was like a switch that you could toggle on it, and when you turned it on, it would boot up an alternate menu first that was like select save file or whatever, and you could save whatever you wanted. What was crazy that I figured out as a kid was that you could also load any game into any other game you wanted.
Ooh.
I had Tetris saves that I remember loading into my Zelda Link's Awakening cartridge, and that did some fucked up stuff.
Yeah.
It was real fun. Like it started me in the middle of the game with only 3 hearts, a level 0 sword which doesn't exist, and it actually had the correct like power where like a normal mob that you should have been able to hit like twice and kill it, I remember hitting it like 50, 60 times. And it finally would die. It had the power of a level 0 sword. And then I had a magic wand that as soon as you used it, it froze the game instantaneously. Every time without question.
So it was an ice wand, you're telling
Yes, but it had to reset. That was fun as shit, but I could have multiple Pokemon saves. So I had so many things.
I hated Link's Awakening.
You remember like the feeling of you were that guy, you were that bastard when you had a level 100 Pokemon, no matter what it was. Like I remember this guy I used to be friends with, can't remember his name, can't remember anything about him, but I remember he showed off he had a level 100 Butterfree that would wreck my shit because it was a level 100 Butterfree.
Did he use the rare candy trick though?
Probably did. Thinking back on it.
Did Gen 1 have like EVs and IVs?
No, God, no. That was like way later. I think like Gen 3.
Hidden.
I think
hidden.
it did have hidden stats.
Yeah, like you couldn't alter it like you see it like you do now.
I'm pretty sure it did.
I'm pretty sure it did too.
Because that's where it started, and that's when people figured out that you didn't get the same benefit from a rare candy as you did from actually training it. But I don't think it necessarily mattered at that time.
Right.
Like now it's like what Pokemon it fights. And
Right.
Yep,
it
like if you
has
fight
to
a
be-
Geodude, it raises your defense stat. If you
Yeah.
fight like a Pokemon that specializes in speed, you get a speed stat.
Yeah, I don't know if it went that far, but I'm pretty sure it did have hidden stats of some sort, and I think
Okay,
that's
you're
what
right, yeah.
spawned it. Yeah.
Yeah, they introduced it in Gen 1, but it was done a very different way.
Right.
They reworked the system that's used to this day, starting with Gen 3.
How many times did you try to move the truck to get Mew?
Oh man,
Was it?
so many times.
Yes.
That theory of how to catch Mew
Yeah,
under the
yeah.
truck in Vermilion City.
Dude,
Wasn't
plagued me. It haunted me for years. Going, how the fuck?
So is it
I
the
restarted my
Force?
game to get it because I
Yes.
was already past that part.
I thought you can get it in Viridian Forest from like the first like bug trainer guy.
Oh no, there's
Like right next to me. I thought if you go in
There's
and
a
out,
glitch.
There's a glitch. Yeah.
yeah, it's a really long glitch. I did it once and it does work. I got Mew.
Oh, are you talking about like you have to fight the trainers
Yep.
on the bridge in a certain order?
No,
or
not
some
that one. I'm
shit?
talking about Viridian Forest and the forest itself.
Oh no, I'm thinking of a different glitch then.
Oh, I never did that.
Yeah, it's like you have to go in and out of the forest so many times, and you go through a certain hidden patch,
Huh.
and you fight like the first bug trainer guy. Right next to him should appear or something.
Really?
I'll have to try that because
Yeah.
I still have those games.
There's a bunch of like conspiracy theories that I have to. I'll have to
That's
check
how it
out.
was distributed originally, I guess, because there's a certain way you have to do it.
Do you?
Yeah. That's right. Okay, yep. Because then there was the golden bridge, whatever
But
that
there's
shit
one, you
was
ever heard
called.
that one too?
Yeah, where you had to fight a bunch of dudes in a certain order,
Yep.
and there was some that you had to not fight, and then like once you could do some shit like save or when you like enter a building at the same time, you press start and then use a rope to teleport you somewhere else, and when you get there, when you go back across the bridge, there should be a Mew or some bullshit. Fucking weird.
Speaking of teleporters, I hate those little warp pads they had.
Yes,
Now-
As a
those
kid.
were annoying.
Oh god, I hated those.
As
so
a
fucking
kid, I hated
much.
that. Sabrina's gym.
Yes, Sabrina's
Fuck
gym.
Sabrina's gym.
Dude.
First of all, it took me years to find out you had to get the fucking guard pop. I
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
know.
soda.
Yeah, I didn't
He
know
wouldn't
that.
let you pass because he was thirsty.
Yeah, as a kid, I was like, how do I get to this fucking gym?
Bro, it's soda. It's gonna only make you thirstier later.
And he said he's like, oh, I'm gonna share this singular can of soda with the other 4 guards in the area, so you can walk through any of one of those, kid.
Better days.
I didn't know.
Damn.
Also, as a kid, I didn't know you can get the bike voucher to get the
Yeah.
bike. I fucking had to earn that money. I saved up so much money
You
trying to
can't
get.
physically earn that
I
much money.
tried
What are
to
you
never
talking
get it. I
about?
tried to. And I was like, how did I get this bike? I wanted the bike so bad as a kid.
What about the whole theory of Peekaboo? When
Oh
Meryl
my
was first
God.
shown off, and people
Yes.
were like, "What the fuck is that thing?"
I remember that exactly. I called it Peekaboo for the longest time.
And all these threads and all these conspiracy websites at the time,
the
were like,
surfing Pikachu.
Yep, you basically,
shit, the balloon Pikachu. No, I
Yep.
think was the surfing one real?
the surfing one was
That was in yellow. Right?
it was based off of the Pokemon episode.
Yeah, there's a
with a
surfing
surfing
episode.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
What was his name? Because he had the Pikachu had blue eyes, didn't it?
Yeah, he was like blind. He couldn't see, but like he could surf.
Yeah. No, I swear.
He had like a tuft of hair too up there. Like,
Yeah.
Pikachu
Yep.
was
That
cool
made
as
him
fuck.
cool.
Because his
Yep.
owner was cool too. It was like some rugged dude who's just like, yeah.
I think it was like Pico.
Pico, something like that. Yeah.
Pico or
God,
Pico.
what if
Pico.
he's the new protagonist? They like cut back to him and they're like, find out what this cool kid did with his cooler Pikachu.
You know, what would be cool.
Oh no, it was an
They
old
did-
guy who trained his Pikachu to surf with them
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that
in the episodes.
was he an old guy? I thought I don't remember.
There was
I thought he was
another.
a
There's
kid.
Richie. There was Richie and his
No,
Pikachu
fuck
that was
Richie.
kind of like a copy version of Ash.
Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking of. Yeah,
It was a discount Ash Ketchum.
yeah, that's what I thought. I was
Did
like,
you
it's
do-
him, but not him.
They should do more spin-off series like the Pikachu's Vacation, like the mini movie.
Yes.
If they
Yep,
do more
at the beginning of the Pokemon movie 2000.
Yep.
Yep.
If they do more like spin-off series of just the Pokemon itself, like the what's that video game? It's just the Pokemon itself, so like the Rescue Rangers.
Oh, Pokemon Rescue.
The-
Yeah, Rescue something like yeah.
Pokemon Ranger.
Yeah, I think something like that. I'd watch that where Pikachu just goes off and solves mysteries and shit.
There was that. Was it Pokemon Ranger on the DS where you caught Pokemon just by drawing circles
Yep.
around them really
Yeah.
fast?
They kept like breaking the circle. I'm like, stop it! I'm drawing as fast as I can.
I can't tell you how many fucking ruined DSs I saw at GameStop because
Yep.
of that fucking game with
Yep.
kids that
I
wouldn't
think-
use screen protectors.
I think that's why they stopped really making a lot of those games.
Yeah.
Did you know originally Raichu was supposed to evolve?
Yeah,
Like
I think I've heard
there
that,
actually
yeah.
was an original design for
Really?
Pikachu to have
It
a
looked
third
cool.
form.
I remember seeing it. It was like fucking badass.
Oh yeah, it's really cool. Its name was Gorochu, and he had fangs and
cool.
horns.
What?
Yeah, Gorochu, Gorochu. He apparently was removed because of balance issues.
Yeah.
He would have been too good.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We're
Yeah,
just
he
like
looked badass,
yeah,
doesn't
we're
he?
making we're just shattering Brent's world here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, what if they do a series, an alternate universe where Ash starts off with Clefairy, like how he was supposed to?
Clefairy was originally,
Yeah.
going to be like the mascot, but the company was like, that's too girly. We need to find something that's a
Yeah.
more of a middle ground, and that's where Pikachu came from.
Clefairy is supposed to be the original. Like, if they,
Yeah.
but what if they go back and do that?
That's how it was in the comic books, wasn't it? Or no, it was Pikachu.
Yeah, it was Pikachu. Still.
Well, in the comics, there's a Pokemon Adventure manga, and
manga
the
is
main,
different, though.
Yeah, the main character had a Poliwhirl as his like starter,
I say it was
but then
off-
he also got Bulbasaur and then Pikachu, and then he kind of went on to catch a couple more Pokemon.
I remember his chameleon killed the Arbok. You remember that scene?
You mean Charizard?
No, it was chameleon.
Charmeleon?
Charmeleon. Sorry.
Oh my god! Like, who the fuck's Chameleon?
Sorry. It's
a
late.
little
It's
form.
late.
No
It's
one
late,
remembers
guys.
that.
Well, in the Pokemon manga, yeah, they like straight up show Pokemon
yeah,
dying.
Pokemon get brutally murdered in fights and
Wow.
shit.
I mean, I guess that would make more sense.
Now, did you know the whole funny thing about who the first Pokemon is?
It's
The first designed
Rhydon.
Pokemon was Rhydon.
Yeah.
He was the first ever design. Now, the first ever Pokemon in the Pokedex, number 1, is Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
He's 001. The first ever Pokemon in the span of like the series, I guess timeline, is Arceus. And then there's Mew, who apparently is the first Pokemon that all other Pokemon stem from. But yeah, it's just kind of like a mix between those four. Like, who's
the first?
Yeah, who's the first? Technically, Rhydon's the first design. Bulbasaur's the first in the Pokedex. Mew is the Pokemon that all Pokemon stem from, and then Arceus is God. So he
God.
supposedly made everything.
Now, I guess it depends if you're talking. Is it if does meta count? Like, is in game and real world two different things? Because Rhydon is the first Pokemon, but then in game.
Arceus technically
has
was.
to be. There's no. I don't give a shit about the number. Like you could like it would have. Someone would be like, okay, now I know we labeled like officially in game. Like if there was a scientist who's like, okay, no, Bulbasaur is technically like number 1 in your Pokedex. However, upon the discovery of God, we are going to shift all numbers 1 to the right to make room for God.
Can't have it. Venusaur has to be number 3.
Oh my God.
But yeah, but I guess like we don't want to make this like too long of a thing. But I love reminiscing with you guys about like Pokemon in our childhoods.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the main thing I want to ask you guys: what if all of a sudden Nintendo and Game Freak? I know this is not going to happen. This series makes way too much money. But what if they're like, anime's done. We're not going to make any more of the anime, and we're not going to make any Pokemon games after this. What if Pokemon just stopped? What if they were just done?
It's if they were just done, there would be a huge void of I mean, it really would. It would feel like there's something missing out of life because it's become this juggernaut that like it's at least literally once a day. I don't know if you can escape it. You will either see or hear about Pokemon somewhere in some fashion. It's almost guaranteed. Like there has to be something. It's part of our life. It's dominated the planet for so long. If that disappeared, what Yokai Watch, like that's gonna come
that's
back?
been failing
Like,
miserably.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna do
It's
it.
Digimon.
Digimon?
Digimon's popular, but not nearly as popular as
Come on.
Pokemon.
Metal Seedramon?
No.
Come on.
No, I mean, if you want to talk about, like, reminiscing about Gen 1, Gen 2 of Digimon, oh, I fucking love that shit, too. But is it Pokemon? No. Monster Rancher? Cool as fuck. But no.
No. It's got to be Scanners.
Oh my
Scanners
god,
are where
dude.
it's at.
Scanners.
Yeah, Scanners.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
I had the red scanner. I wanted that so bad as a kid, and I got it.
Wow.
Garage sale.
Dude, yeah, I fucking remember, because that was the shit that, like, you scan
You scan a
barcodes
barcode
on
and
stuff.
catch the
Yeah,
different monsters.
I took that shit to, like, the store, and my mom would go grocery shopping, and I'm, like, up and down the Campbell's, like, soup aisle. Boop.
I was pissed because as a kid, I lost a barcode that would restore their health. So I just had dead scanner monsters, and I was like, how do I fucking get them alive?
Yeah.
Remember in Gen when they released Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the remakes of the first Heart Gold and Silver, the Pokewalker.
Yeah.
I still have mine.
That was
I have
like
two.
I had my Pokewalker.
that
too.
was the first time Pokemon actually got people to get outside and go for a walk for once. It was
Dude,
the first time any gamer said, I think I'll go get some exercise.
Oh, dude, I
Because
would
you
wear
had a
that-
reason.
I wear that shit to school, like put that on my belt and like under my shirt because obviously I couldn't be seen with that because it was high school.
Yeah, no, that was
but,
high school. But did you have one of the Pikachu, the little Pikachu Gigapets?
Oh no, I never got that.
Oh,
we had the
dude,
Digimon
never
ones in our household.
Yeah, dude, I was lucky there. I had the original and I got the second gen one in color. And let me tell you, that shit was the fucking best because that was the first time we had a walking device that counted steps, especially as kids, and it was the hottest shit on the market. So 5th grade year, all you would see is kids shaking their foot in the light. That's all we did. Every single child in that room, I swear
Yep.
to God, have one. And we were all, and like teachers were like, okay, we're gonna ban those things. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just really jittery. Like I'm just shaking my leg because I want to shake my leg. And they're like, sit still. And I'm like, I'm walking my Pikachu.
Don't tell me what to do with my Pikachu.
Yeah.
Dude, it was just like there's so many good memories and so many good things to talk about.
Yeah, and I hope
we
that
didn't even
there's
talk about the
still
show.
so more to come. Like, there's no way
Brock
it can
takes
end.
over.
Oh my god, Brock's a doctor now.
I know, he takes over.
Brock's a doctor
Does
in
he
this
get
show.
married?
No,
Yeah, no, he gets a girlfriend.
he does get a girlfriend.
gets-
Oh, that was it. Okay, I was like,
He
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 finally
dates like a
gets
scientist.
something.
Doesn't he date like a lab?
He did. Oh, he dated a. Oh my god, Professor Ivy from Orange Island. She was
He
busty,
fumbled
and
that
she
one.
was that. She was that older type of woman, and yeah. I didn't understand it now. Sorry, back then, but I understand it now.
Yeah, Brock, I'm with you.
Cynthia. Cynthia's where it's at.
Cynthia's always great. Ash beat Cynthia in this tournament, which is insane to me.
That's still just plot armor. It fucking pisses me off.
Who's
Like,
the
Cynthia should
hottest
destroy-
gym leader? Everyone goes quiet.
Because I'm trying to think like
Deep contemplation.
wait a
Think of
minute,
ones that
because
are
we got to make
older.
sure that they are above age because a lot
Yeah.
of the trainers are
So,
young.
So as a kid,
I was-
I had a huge crush on Missy.
Oh, yeah, who
especially with
didn't?
that song she
who
had with
didn't?
and two, yeah.
didn't?
Ooh.
Ooh, damn.
And her sisters,
Ugh.
Equal.
those fucking three sisters, they're like, yeah.
That was one of my favorite episodes. You go to the gym and they're like all in there, and you're like, oh yeah. As a kid, especially after seeing the Pokemon cards, was Erica the grass
Yeah.
leader?
Oh, Erica, she's so sweet. Sabrina's that type of girl that you want to have her
She's
step on you a little bit.
I don't know.
Downy
Sabrina
mommy.
scared me as a kid.
Yeah.
That's like
As a kid, but
In
now
the
she scares me
show,
as an
she
adult
was
in a good way.
creepy. The show, she was
yeah.
creepy.
Oh, dude, the fact that in the show she literally has real psychic powers that traps people as dolls.
Like, yeah, she seals them away, and I'm like, whoa.
The first generation of the Pokemon anime
I used to
is so
think
different.
she was hot. No way.
So
Remember Dragonite?
Yeah,
like when
so-
the first time we ever saw Dragonite in the
that's something that
Pokemon
scared me
anime
as a shit as a kid.
at the
Like,
lighthouse.
The lighthouse.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking Bill had one job.
When the show was going and fucking Ho-Oh was on screen and no one knew who
Yeah.
the fuck that was.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
just a weird golden bird flying through the sky.
Yeah, and we didn't see it until Johto. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember in the very first Pokemon movie when you first saw Donphan, you're like, what the fuck is that?
I was like, what is that?
yeah,
I
that and
want it.
Ho-Ho. When I first saw Ho-Ho, I was like,
We saw that in the first episode. So
what? Ho-Ho?
yeah, he's the golden bird in the first episode.
Oh, not Ho-Ho. Hoot-Hoot. Hoot-Hoot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when I first saw it in like Pikachu's Vacation or something, maybe not Pikachu's Vacation. But
The
remember seeing-
Snubble. Too.
Yeah, that Snubble. I was like, what the fuck are these guys? As a
Yeah.
What
kid?
are these things?
Yeah.
In the first ever, if you watch, in the first couple episodes, there's a plaque in one of the Pokemon centers that Ash goes to, and you see it, and it's like very old. You see, there's 4 Pokemon on it. There's Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos, and the 4th one is Arcanine. Because originally, Arcanine was supposed to be a legendary Pokemon.
But he is, right?
No, Arcanine's
Wait,
not.
not Arcan. Oh, I was
You're thinking Entei.
Yeah.
No, Arcanine was, was originally going to be a legendary, but then they just made him a normal Pokemon.
If I remember correctly, and even in Arcanine's Pokemon Pokédex entry, it still says the legendary Pokemon.
Yeah, he is considered a legendary Pokemon.
Right, I do remember that. But I do remember
He's
being
best
like,
dog.
it's just a Growlithe that evolves into Arcanine. What's so legendary about that?
Yeah.
Everyone's got one.
He's just like a legendary, like majestic Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right, and then last question, I feel like before we end this, because I know we were trying to keep this short, but it's almost an hour here. So I
Jesus
think
Christ.
Yeah. My
one
girlfriend's
last
gonna be mad at
thing
me.
before we end up closing this show. If you could have one Pokemon now, what would it be?
Charizard.
Wait, so real life situations or anime situations?
Real life situations.
Charizard.
You just have like a Charizard's like what? He's only like 6 or 7 foot tall.
He's 5'10".
5'10". Okay.
So he's
I'm
like my
taller than
size.
Charizard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like my size.
So you would have a
legs.
weird the hind leg walking quadruped dragon just stomping around.
Dude, I don't fucking care. I'd make it work. I'd make it work,
no, that'd
man.
be cool. All right, no, that'd be rad. I mean, just imagine just coming down the stairs.
I mean, he would not be allowed in the house, really, or ever be allowed to be...
Checking in to see if you guys are done with the podcast yet.
So I'm assuming the Pokemon loves you, right? They don't hate you.
I imagine so.
Because some of the Pokemon are
well,
fucking
nice to them.
Depends. How
devious.
much fear do you instill in it?
It really depends. Like I'm just saying.
What do you mean it depends?
Dude, have you not read some of the Pokemon entries? They will fucking kill you. Like,
Oh yeah, some of them. Yeah.
So it really depends. Like, just like my favorite Pokemon in general is Scyther, but I feel like in real life I wouldn't do shit besides cut people up. But
Yeah.
I would say in real life I'd probably like something that could hypnotize someone, like maybe like a Gengar, like. And give me my job interview. Just hide in the shadows and hypnotize him while he give me this job with this huge
So
pay.
you'd be like a super villain of Pokemon, like a super crook of
I wouldn't say super villain. I'm just a guy
Little
trying to get by.
Little
just,
crook. I feel like that's what a supervillain would say.
And you know, I know
See, I
I'm the
wouldn't
one.
get an Alakazam because they can read your own mind.
Ooh.
They can read your mind, so you'd be fucked. If you, I'd get a Gengar just to hypnotize him. And be like, all right, just let me get this job right. Come and help me out.
Damn. You know, I mean, I'm the one who asked this, and I honestly, I can't. I feel like I would want something a little more traditional, like something like a dog or I think something
Charizard.
more.
Well, actually,
Charizard.
actually,
Charizard.
Meowth. Payday. Just give me all the money. It's payday. Use payday, Meowth.
No,
Thanks
you
for
would.
the coins.
No, it's his coins on his head, right? That he
Yeah, he creates multiples of those
Yeah,
like
but
gold
in the
coins.
so that turns out to be normal cash though. You can just count as gold coins. Gold has value.
I feel like in the Pokemon world, though, like if that was a real thing, they would
Imagine
immediately
walking up
ban
to the
it.
counter and being like, "Okay, there'll be $10," and you go here,
He's like
and they're
50
like,
pounds
"This
of
is
gold.
this is a bunch of Meowth money," and you're like, "Yeah."
Yes. Your point.
Like, this is worthless. We have so much of this.
Because you keep beating up Meowth to make it use payday.
I mean,
But
I want to go with my traditional Eevee, I think, just because
Eevee's adorable.
So, I mean, there's the episode with Eevee and the Eevee brothers, and the youngest
yes.
Eevee brother doesn't want to evolve his Eevee because it's special. And I always thought that was cool. But then I'm also like, but Flareon. No.
Espeon.
No,
Like-
Vaporeon.
Espeon.
Vaporeon.
No, I mean,
Jolteon.
if I'm going with Gen 1 Flareon, Umbreon otherwise.
Right.
He's my.
Remember that episode where Ash died and he hung out with Gengar, Ghastly, and
Yes.
Haunter?
I do remember that.
That was cool. Dragonite being a giant.
The creepy music in fucking what is that town that
Lavender Town.
Lavender Town? Yeah,
Where like it made a bunch of kids unfortunately unalive themselves. That was that was insane. Pokemon the first
Ghost.
movie was a banger.
Remember how
Dude,
Brock
I-
fell in love with that ghost chick?
Yeah. The ghost chick. There was an
There's like some
episode.
maiden. Like,
Okay, hold on. That episode. In that episode, she is. It turns out she's actually a Ghastly.
Exactly.
She's a Ghastly. But here's the thing. During that, she keeps transforming into like different Pokemon. And but in one instance, she transforms into a giant weasel, not a Pokemon.
Oh,
just
just
a
something.
weasel.
weird.
And people were like, "What the hell is that?" Because that's also in
They don't
Generation
have,
1.
like, animals.
Yeah, in Generation 1, that's the only time you actually see real animals. You see cows, you see bulls, you see fish. But after Generation 1, you don't see any other animal. You even see real birds, but you don't see any other real animal after Gen 1.
It's also because I think they needed to recognize that they would need those designs for later.
Yeah.
Like, they have to have a milk tank. Like, that is your cow. No, you can't be like, this cow is for fighting, that cow's for eating. Like,
I think they just ran out of, like, the animals died off after that.
yeah.
right, yeah, it was just that they all got replaced by Pokemon, which is really weird to think about.
badass Tentacruel.
Yeah.
The giant Tentacruel episode where they
Yes.
destroyed a whole city.
If you think about it, it fucking took that Meowth and was talking through Meowth. How the fuck?
Yeah.
It just got Meowth and it was like Meowth was talking through because Meowth learned English.
Well, I totally forgot about that. Totally different vibe.
What?
Right. Generation 1 had some of the funniest, like, most inspired episodes.
The original giant Pokemon with the ancient power.
Oh,
like,
dude! Oh, yeah, the
with
original
the-
giant Pokemon
ancient, like,
with the black tattoos.
Yep. There's the ancient Gengar, ancient Charizard.
No, ancient
Jigglypuff.
Alakazam, Jigglypuff, Charizard. Jigglypuff, remember her being a reoccurring gag? She sang everyone to sleep and then got
with
mad.
the marker.
Yeah,
Dude,
right
that
on
Pokemon
her
was
face.
indestructible. Like
Yeah.
she just kept getting blown up and she came back pissed off. Like
Sometimes the plot like revolved around that Jigglypuff doing that. Like couldn't, they wouldn't have made it without it.
Or Island of the Giant Pokemon when like after the SS Anne went down. Oh yeah, that episode with the SS Anne drowning. Like they essentially had Titanic in Pokemon.
Yeah.
When Magikarp first turned into a Gyarados.
Oh, that was magical.
Right, would be like, oh god, no one's ever seen Gyarados and lived to tell the tale. It's like, what?
That's one of the things that made Gyarados
Crystal
fucking
Onyx?
cool.
The Crystal Onyx episode in the
Onyx.
Orange Island.
dude, he was a badass trainer. He's cool.
Yeah.
Was he the first shiny?
He's
It was an onyx made of crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it had evolved because of being in this certain region.
It
It
stayed
ate
underneath
crystal.
the ground
Right,
so long.
but it's a unique coloring though.
I think
So
that was crystal. That was
Oh no, it
shiny
was just straight up made out of crystal instead of rock.
well, I mean, same difference.
So it wasn't
looks
weak.
different.
It wasn't weak to water. That was
Yeah,
the crazy thing. So he had tried fire, and fire seemed to hurt it.
Yep.
But like, there's so many crazy things. But yeah, we're getting a little long here. There's so many things we could talk about.
Well, maybe we'll do another episode, like a full-blown episode on Pokemon here eventually. Even though this is practically a full-blown episode, we are at an hour. We wanted to definitely keep this a little bit shorter, but yeah, Phil's right. There's so damn much about the show to love and remember and reminisce, and we are the generation of nostalgia, and that's 100% how it is. Like, they just, things like this did not exist much before the 80s and 90s, where there weren't as many franchises that were, so, this is actually something I wanted to bring up a little earlier, was that with Japanese TV shows and toys and games, in America too, it was a model at first that they wanted to be like, we needed to have the show set a precedent for what the game is. And there was back even before like things like Pokemon, when they had like He-Man of the universe and shit, they had this cartoon about He-Man, but they like nobody knew what the fuck it was, so they wanted hold on. Let me read. Yes, it was the toys first. Yes, that's what I was like. I want to restart this. It was the toys first, but nobody knew anything about like, why do we give a fuck about these toys? So to get people hyped about the toys, they made the show, and then the show was like, oh, fucking cool. These guys actually have like powers and shit, and you can see them, and that's what was cool. And it started this wave of branding that meshed toys and show synonymously, so that when one came out, almost the other one was guaranteed, because kids wanted to physically interact with the thing they saw on screen. Well, it's the same thing now with games, where the game came out, but now you want to see more detail about that game. You want to know more about that world. So from the game, they're like, well, shit, we could fucking make this kick-ass TV show too. So now they have this show, and it just turned into this phenomenon that's unstoppable. I don't think it will ever die. I think Pokemon will outlive us.
Yeah.
To be fully honest.
Hey, Blizzard, take notes. I want an Overwatch show. You know that'd be cool.
No, they just monetize the fuck out of it.
No, have you seen the Overwatch cinematics? Are amazing. Like,
Second episode, $5, please.
The little shorts are awesome. They should definitely do a series on. I don't know. I
they
feel like,
would, but
yeah.
Activision Blizzard ain't smart enough to do that. But
We challenge you to make a cool show for
All
us. Put it on Netflix or something. 'Cause I already have Netflix.
Yeah.
I'd watch it. To be honest, I'd watch it. All right, last two questions, and then we'll call it quits. First, favorite Pokemon, and favorite generation of games.
Umbreon, Gen 2.
Okay. Charizard, I'd still say Gen 1 is my favorite, but Gen 3 also is pretty damn fun.
I never played Gen 3. I skipped all of those, and then remember I started.
But
Yeah.
Sharpedo.
Sharpedo.
Yeah.
Yep, I didn't play any of those. I kind of fell out of Pokemon for a while.
Gen 3 is like the time they tried to restart everything. Ash left all of his Pokemon at home, and he started with just Pikachu, and he restarted his journey from scratch. And the games essentially are mostly new Pokemon, so it was a really cool thing where instead of Johto, who relied way too much on Kanto, Hoenn didn't give a fuck about Kanto and Johto. It did its own thing, and that's why I really like it.
That's when I got into like Oris. When I got back into
Yeah,
Pokemon,
Oris
it took
is
me
so-
all the way to Oris.
Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, so good.
Yeah.
Best way to play those games.
Emerald is the best game.
Emerald is really good though.
Yes.
What's your favorite Pokemon in Gen?
Favorite generation. It's tough. I have to say Johto too. Like going up to Johto because it has the cool like when you first introduce Steel types. I love Steel types.
True, it's just Johto relies so heavily
Scizor,
on Kanto.
Steel.
Yeah. Well, so I
The
think
games
the
are
reason
easy, too.
why I want to pick Johto is because this was the first time as a kid I experienced anticipation.
Okay.
Like I knew what Pokemon was and I was obsessed with it, but now I wanted more. And when finally they're like, there is more, I'm like, and then so now I was on the bleeding edge of this game. I got it right when it came out, so I was one of the first kids to like be in the
Okay.
know sort of thing. So that's where for me Pokemon almost truly started like the discovery, because by the time like I already had Pokemon Yellow, I already knew everything about it. I was just fucking flying through the game having a blast. I loved the shit out of it. But Pokemon Silver, that was all new, all fresh. It was all discovery. It was great. Great time.
And it is a good game because they didn't know they were going to do another game after that. They were like, okay, let's make a sequel to Pokemon and then we call it good. They didn't think it was going to get that big, and it did. And here we are about to hit Gen 9 with Scarlet and Violet coming out on November 18th, 6 days from now. And they've never done a game quite like that again. You know, and I'll always have a special place in my heart. Johto and Gold and Silver and Crystal, great games. But I think that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. And yeah, it's super late. We didn't think this was going to go on this long, but once we start talking about something we love and we're reminiscing, it can go on for a while.
Oh yeah, and this is just a good time.
This is a great episode.
Fuck all you.
But I really do hope that they will. Part of me does hope they continue with the anime, but I think it is time for Ash to retire as a character. I think that he's done what he wanted to do, and now it's time for someone else to take the lead.
Right, and I think that's a good sign of the times because, like, again, like this has bridged so many generational gaps that Ash was with us for our gen and then finished his endeavor with the next generation. Now this new generation of kids that's coming up, they're going to have a whole new Pokemon experience, especially if they start a new show with a new character. It won't be anything we relate to, I think, unfortunately. I don't think we'll give a shit, but the new kids...
Right.
They will. That will be the start of their journey with their hero. And I think that's really cool. Nintendo and Game Freak are really caught up on that. But hey, absolutely thanks everybody for listening to this bonus episode. I know we were calling it a really fast, really quick episode, and that didn't happen. I do not apologize.
Nope.
Thanks so much for listening. I want to thank Schminkadelic for the use of our intro and outro. You can listen to his tunes on Spotify and Apple Music for more dance and trance. Once again, this has been the Men of Zen. I didn't introduce ourselves at the beginning, but this time I'm going to end it as such. My name is Brent.
I'm Pokemon Trainer Phil.
I'm gym leader Ian.
Hold on. What did you call your rival?
Ass face.
Ass butt.
It was always
Butthead.
something like, bitch.